What if I told you this winter could be the coldest America's seen in more than 10 years, and most families still aren't ready for it? When the power's out, the wind's howling, and your house turns to ice, comfort isn't what disappears first, it's control. FEMA reports that cold weather kills more Americans every year than heat, hurricanes, or floods combined. So in this video, we're breaking down 12 FEMA-approved survival items every family needs before the next cold snap hits. And trust me, number 9 might just save your life when help can't reach you. 1. Emergency thermal blankets. When your furnace fails and the power goes out, you'll be stunned by how quickly your body starts bleeding heat. FEMA warns that hypothermia can begin in under 30 minutes once indoor temperatures dip below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's not a rare case. Severe winter storms have pushed many homes into that danger zone. These emergency thermal blankets, those shiny mylar wraps you see in disaster kits, aren't just gimmicks. They're the same kind used by FEMA, Red Cross, and search and rescue teams. Why? Because they trap up to 90% of your radiant body heat by reflecting infrared energy back toward you. Think about this. During the 2024 Arctic blast, when more than 1.2 million Americans lost power for more than 48 hours, hospitals reported surges in hypothermia cases, especially among older adults who couldn't stay warm. In several media reports, survival blankets were credited with helping people hold on until help arrived. Now picture your own home at 2 a.m. The furnace is silent, your fingers are stiff. You wrap yourself and your loved ones in thermal blankets. That cold, bone-deep fear begins to ease. It's not warmth like a heater gives, but it's enough to buy you time. These blankets are thin, light, and cheap. Store several in your car, your home, and in your emergency kit. Because when the lights go out and the temperature drops, those mylar sheets won't just be a backup plan, they could be your first line of defense. 2. Portable propane or butane heater. When the chill creeps in and your home feels like a freezer, morale and hope start to vanish. In fact, last year's extreme cold snaps, weather-related outages accounted for about 80% of major power failures in the U.S. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, winter storms routinely knock out electricity for tens or hundreds of homes across multiple states. A portable, indoor-safe propane or butane heater can be a literal lifesaver when warmth disappears. FEMA and DHS both emphasize the need for a reliable backup heat source. One model often cited is the Mr. Heater Portable Buddy, which comes equipped with an auto shutoff and low oxygen sensor, two critical safety features to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. Picture this. You wake up in a 35-degree Fahrenheit house. Outside, the wind rages and snow presses against your windows. Your furnace is silent. You break out the heater, crack a small window, and within minutes, warmth pushes back the cold. You thaw your fingers, your partner breathes easier. Suddenly, you feel like you have control. This isn't fantasy. During historical winter grid failures, people have survived days in freezing homes simply by using safe, controlled heaters. But it only works when you've tested it ahead of time and stored extra fuel in a well-ventilated spot away from the house. So before the next freeze, do this. Pick a heater with safety features, test it, get the extra canisters, and keep it ready. Because when the grid fails and the cold closes in, this small piece of gear might be your best shot at staying alive. 3. Water storage and filtration. You might not immediately think about water when prepping for a cold snap, but in winter blackouts, your water supply often fails before anything else. Frozen pipes, burst mains, pump failures, they're common when temperatures stay below freezing for extended periods of time. Here's what the experts advise. FEMA and Ready.gov recommend storing at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, covering both drinking and basic sanitation. For short-term outages, a 3-day supply is the minimum. But realistically, many preparedness guides suggest keeping 2 weeks' worth if you can, especially in rural areas or during prolonged storms. Use food-grade containers or water bricks and store them in a cool, dark spot. And remember, water degrades over time. FEMA's official guidance is to rotate stored water every 6 months if it's not commercially bottled. Now, storage is one thing, but what if your stored water runs out or becomes contaminated? That's where a reliable filtration or purification tool comes in. Devices like the LifeStraw or Sire Mini are built to remove 99.999% of bacteria and all kinds of parasites. The LifeStraw personal version can filter up to 1,000 gallons over its lifetime. That's enough for years of emergency use for a single person. Imagine this. The storm has knocked out power, the municipal supply is frozen, and the only water you have is in a rain barrel or stored canister. While others scramble to boil snow or risk unsafe sources, you lean on your filtration device and sip clean water within minutes. That peace of mind? It's the difference between desperation and control. In a freezing outage, water isn't just life, it's your most critical line of defense. Stay ahead of it. 4. Hand warmers and heat packs. It's shocking how fast extremities betray you in cold weather. Fingers, toes, they go numb before you even realize it. Frostbite doesn't come with warnings. Once it's setting in, the damage can start within minutes on exposed skin under extreme conditions. The National Weather Service's wind chill advisories remind us frequently. At certain temps and wind speeds, exposed skin can freeze in as little as 5 to 30 minutes. That's where hand warmers and instant heat packs become tiny lifelines. FEMA includes them in its cold weather survival gear lists because they're cheap, compact, and wildly effective. You slip one into your glove or boot, and it can begin radiating heat in seconds, giving circulation a boost and keeping critical areas warm while you wait out a storm or rescue. Think of this real scenario. You're traveling through a blizzard, your car stalls, the engine cuts off, and you're surrounded by snow and wind. You crack the door, reach into your glove box, and grab a handful of heat packs. Your fingers start to thaw. You regained feeling, can operate your phone, maybe dig yourself out. Without those packs, you risk frostnip, then frostbite, especially dangerous at night when your body's defenses are down. Because in prolonged blackouts or stranded situations, your hands are tools. You need them to grip, signal, or build. Let them freeze, and everything stops. These packs don't just add comfort, they buy you time. Storage tip. Keep several in coat pockets, boots, your car's glove compartment, and your emergency kit. Make sure they're sealed until needed. In freezing weather, when the cold silent creeps in, a few warm digits might keep you alive long enough to get help. 5. Non-perishable food. When the temperature drops below freezing and highways turn into ice rinks, grocery trucks stop moving. Shelves empty fast, and once they're bare, they stay that way. During the 2021 Texas winter storm, families waited in line for hours just to get a few cans of food. According to FEMA, every household should have at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. But more recent guidance from Ready.gov and the American Red Cross now suggests preparing for 2 weeks or longer if you live in areas prone to power outages or road closures. Here's why that matters. A 2024 report from the USDA found that 13% of American households faced food insecurity at least once during a major weather event. Not because there wasn't food somewhere, but because they couldn't get to it. When stores close and ATMs go down, what's in your pantry becomes your only safety net. So focus on high-calorie, ready-to-eat staples that can outlast a blackout. Canned soups, chili, stews, peanut butter, protein bars, oats, nuts, and dried fruit. Pick items you actually enjoy eating. Morale matters more than people realize when it's 10 degrees outside and you're eating by flashlight. And here's a pro tip from FEMA's emergency food list. Choose foods that don't require cooking or refrigeration. Because when the stove's dead and your fridge is just another cold box, the meals you stocked up on won't just keep you fed, they'll keep you calm, focused, and ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Battery-powered lanterns and flashlights. The moment the grid dies and your lights go out, a house can feel like a black hole. One misstep in the dark might send you crashing into furniture or worse.
FEMA's guidance doesn't sugarcoat it. Every household should keep multiple LED lanterns and flashlights, plus a healthy stash of spare batteries. That's not just advice, it's survival insurance. Here's why this matters more than you think. In the 2023 Michigan blackout, whole neighborhoods were plunged into darkness for 72 hours. Residents with solar-powered lanterns reported fewer injuries and calmer households, while those without lights stumbled through the night, risking falls and accidents. Light in those moments was more than visibility, it was control. And technology has your back now. Crank-powered or solar lanterns can run for days without needing an outlet, which makes them perfect when the power stays off. Some modern LED lanterns offer 100+ hours on a single battery set, and with built-in USB ports, they can double as emergency chargers for phones or radios.
Let me tell you what it's like in real life. A family in a remote county lost power in a bitter cold snap. Their children were scared, the house silent. But thanks to a couple of solar lanterns they had stashed in a closet, they kept corners of the home gently lit. They could see faces, read maps, check their kits, and even move around safely. That kind of light saves nerves, keeps people calm, especially children or older adults who panic in darkness. So if I were you, I'd go grab a few battery-powered solar or crank lanterns now. Put them in every room, in your go bag, in your car. Because when you're sitting in the freezing dark, light won't just guide your way, it might just keep you sane. 7. Emergency radio. When the internet goes dark and cell towers freeze, how will you know what's happening outside your walls? This isn't about nostalgia, it's survival. An NAOA-approved weather radio is your lifeline when everything else fails. It broadcasts continuously, 24/7, official warnings, watches, forecasts, and hazard info directly from the nearest National Weather Service office. Because it's tied into the emergency alert system, it can interrupt standard programming and override silence to blast critical alerts when severe weather is imminent. Let me give you a scenario. It's freezing outside, a blizzard's approaching, and the sky starts making threatening sounds. Your phone's dead, Wi-Fi's dead, but your radio bursts to life with a loud alert tone, warning you of a sudden temperature plunge or a flash freeze that could cripple travel. That advance notice, sometimes minutes, gives you time to batten down, move people, or turn on backup systems. Emergency radios are built for power loss. Many models include hand crank, solar, and battery backup options, ensuring they work even when the grid's gone. And with features like SAME, they only alert you to dangers in your county, not distant storms that don't affect you. During snowstorms or ice events, radios have saved lives by keeping people informed when everything else failed. They may be small, but they're often the only tool that keeps you connected to weather updates, evacuation orders, emergency shelters, or federal guidance. So don't sleep on this one. Every prep kit should have a weather radio you trust. Your ears in the silence, your shield when storms strike. 8. Extra batteries and power banks. Everything in your emergency kit, phones, radios, flashlights, even medical devices, runs on power. But what happens when the outage lasts for days? That's when backups become your lifeline. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security and sites like FEMA emphasize having portable chargers or power banks among your essential tools during blackouts. And before storms roll in, the CDC explicitly advises people to fully charge all electronic devices to prepare for power failures. Here's why this matters more than most people think. Whole communities have gone dark. In such cases, your phone might be your only connection to emergency services, loved ones, or alerts. A fully charged power bank can keep that line open when everything else shuts down. When choosing batteries, stock up on AA, AAA, and lithium. They power remotes, radios, lanterns, and small tools. Every flashlight or device you depend on should have fresh batteries ready to swap. As for power banks, go for high-capacity, reliable models. The market's booming. The U.S. power bank segment is projected to grow significantly in the coming years. Solar or hand crank models are especially useful in long blackouts. They don't rely on the grid. Picture yourself in a house with no electricity, the cold creeping in, and your phone at 5%.
With a charged power bank, you keep that screen alive. You call for help. You get updates. You stay connected. Without it, you're cut off. Don't leave your electronics to chance. Stock extra batteries, invest in dependable power banks, and test them now. Because when the cold night hits and the lights go out, power is survival. 9. First aid and medications kit. Cold doesn't just make you shiver, it makes every injury worse. In freezing conditions, even small cuts bleed slower, bruises get more painful, and your body's ability to heal is weakened. That's why having a first aid kit and extra medications is non-negotiable when you're preparing for your coldest nights. FEMA actually lists medications and a well-stocked first aid kit among the essential items people should have in any emergency kit. You want bandages, antiseptics, gauze, tape, a splint or two, tweezers, the basics, plus supplies for your personal health needs. And for winter, add instant heat packs. When frostbite starts creeping in or numb fingers go limp, those small heat packs can literally keep circulation going in your hands or feet. Winter safety data shows older adults are especially vulnerable. A 2024
Trivetta research report revealed that people over 65 make up about 23% of fall-related emergency visits on snow or ice, and many of those falls cause fractures or wounds that demand quick first aid. In cold weather, these injuries worsen faster, especially if you can't get help right away. Here's a scenario. The roads are iced over, a severe winter storm hit overnight, and roads are blocked. You slip on a patch of black ice and twist your ankle. Ambulances are delayed. You're unable to drive. In that moment, your first aid kit, knowing how to use it, and keeping your prescription backup can be the difference between getting through it or being stranded in pain. Don't wait until it's too late. Assemble your kit now. Include at least a 7-day supply of medications, a detailed list of medical conditions, and make sure your kit lives somewhere you can reach it in darkness or under stress. Because when cold and injury collide and help is hours away, being prepared means survival. 10. Fire starters and waterproof matches. When everything else fails, heaters, lights, power lines, fire becomes your greatest ally. That's why keeping dependable fire-starting tools, waterproof matches, and reliable tinder kits isn't just nice to have, it's life-saving. FEMA's official emergency preparedness checklists and organizations like the Red Cross routinely recommend storing waterproof matches in a durable, sealed container. Why? Because in deep cold or snow, regular matches or lighters often fail. But stormproof or waterproof matches can light even when damp, wind-whipped, or partially submerged. Many survival gear sites test and rate stormproof matches for their ability to remain functional in the worst elements. Tinder matters just as much. Even with perfect fire tools, if your kindling is wet or frozen, you won't get a flame. A classic trick: Vaseline-coated cotton balls. They're cheap, lightweight, and burn for minutes, enough to ignite wood or kindling in damp conditions. Outdoor survival guides favor them for emergency kits. Let me paint you a scenario. Suppose your heater fails during a major blackout. The temperatures inside your house drop fast. The wind rattles windows. You head to your fireplace, but the wood is damp, the matches are wet, and nothing works. Until you reach into your kit, pull out a strip of storm-proof matches, strike one, light the tinder, and suddenly you have a flame. Within minutes, that flame becomes warmth, light, and hope. This isn't about romantic fireside stories. It's about practicality under duress. Fire gives you light when night drags on, warmth when cold tries to take over, and a morale boost when the stakes are high. So before winter hits, stash your matches in a waterproof case, prep extra tinder, and practice starting a fire fast. Because when everything else fails, that spark might be the thing that brings you through. 11. Winter clothing and layered gear. When winter hits hard, clothing becomes your frontline defense, especially for seniors. According to CDC's winter weather guidelines,
Older adults are among the groups most vulnerable to cold-related illnesses because their bodies can't regulate temperature as well as younger people. Here's the thing, layers work better than one giant parka. That's not just opinion. Agencies like NIOSH and OSHA emphasize wearing multiple layers of loose clothing as better insulation than a single heavy coat. Start with a moisture-wicking base layer, add an insulating mid-layer, then top it with a wind-proof, water-resistant shell. Don't forget hats, gloves, and wool socks. Those extremities lose heat fastest. One detail many people forget, wet clothing kills insulation. In fact, wet feet lose heat 25 times faster than dry feet, according to CDC NIOSH guidance. That means if your socks or jacket get wet, whether from snow, condensation, or sweat, they stop keeping you warm and can actually accelerate heat loss. That's a risk you cannot take in freezing temps. So always keep an extra set of dry clothes sealed in plastic bags. That way, if rain or snow seeps in, you can change into dry gear fast and stop the bleeding of your body's heat. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine the power goes out during a blizzard and you're stuck in place. The winds whip through your home. Your clothes get damp from breath or leaks. If you're wearing layered gear and have dry spares, you shift layers, change damp pieces, and stabilize your core. Without that, hypothermia can creep in before you even realize it. Your clothing isn't just what you wear, it's what protects your life when winter turns ruthless. 12. Emergency backup power source. Here's the truth. When the power goes out in the middle of winter, the clock starts ticking. You can have all the blankets and food in the world, but without power, everything stops.
FEMA calls backup power one of the most critical, life-saving tools in home preparedness, and yet most families still don't have one. After all, the 2021 Texas freeze left over 4.5 million homes in the dark for days. Fast forward to 2024, NOAA reported more than 19 major winter storms across the U.S., causing widespread outages that lasted anywhere from a few hours to over a week. Think about that for a second. No heat, no lights, no way to charge your phone or power a CPAP machine. That's why a small generator or portable power station isn't a luxury, it's a survival essential. Even a modest 500-watt station can keep your phone charged, run a radio, and power small medical devices long enough to stay informed and connected. For rural families or those depending on medication that needs refrigeration, that little bit of power can literally mean life or death. If you choose a gas-powered generator, store fuel safely outside, never indoors, and run it only in well-ventilated areas to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. For a cleaner option, solar generators have come a long way. Models like the EcoFlow or Jackery can recharge from sunlight during the day and power your essentials all night. The bottom line? When the world outside turns to ice, power equals life. A small backup system isn't just smart, it's peace of mind when everything else goes dark. If tonight the grid went down, how long could you last without power? Don't wait for the next storm to find out. Start small. Even one portable power station can make all the difference when the lights go out. Stay prepared, stay safe, and if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who needs a reminder before winter hits.